3 needle bind off. The 3 needle bind off is used for joining 2 pieces of knitting where the stitches are left on the needle and have not been bound off yet. To do this, make sure that the right sides of the fabric, in this case I have 2 stockinette stitch swatches, so the knit sides will be facing each other and the needles are parallel with the points in the same direction. You need a 3rd needle to work this bind off. Insert the needle knitwise into the first stitch on the front needle and front to back or knitwise into the first stitch on the back needle. I'm using a contrasting yarn for clarity. Take the yarn and wrap it around the 3rd needle knitwise and pull it through both stitches. Then slide the first 2 stitches of the front and back needle off. You have knit the first stitch. As with binding off, you have to have 1 stitch on your needle and then you knit the first stitch of the front and back needle together again. Wrap the yarn knitwise, pull it through, slide those 2 stitches off the left needles. You now have 2 stitches on your right needle or your 3rd needle, and you're going to bind it off. That is, you're going to drag the first stitch over the 2nd stitch and off. There you have your first stitch bound off. You continue across the row, knitting the first stitch of the front and back needle together, pass the 2nd stitch over the first stitch and off, all the way across the row until all the stitches are bound off, or the total number that you need to have bound off. I'm at the last 2 stitches on each needle, so I'm going to knit the front and back together and off, bind those off, and here I am at the very last stitch on the front and back needle. Knit them together and pass that over. You have 1 final stitch left on the needle, which you cut your yarn, leaving an inch or 2. Pull that yarn through the loop, pull tightly and fasten off that last stitch. As you can see, this is what the wrong side looks like. When you turn it around, you have a nice, smooth, even bound off edge. This is the 3 needle bind off.